Panem et circenses. Let the wild rumpus start. Maurice Sendak, Where the Wild Things Are. I was silent as I drove to Lupton Academy for my last first day of high school. Normally, I'd listen to a morning drive mix on my phone and mumble along with the words in an effort to feel like I had some musicality. But I couldn't. That was the cost of reading Lucas Gebhardt. He supplied words, but he demanded tears and being torn apart as payment. I was wrecked, undone, shredded. My soul replaced with a tornado. Hurricane Clara. Category, emotionally distraught. To be fair, I wasn't entirely sure how much having stayed up until 5 played into my wreckedness, but I hadn't been wrecked by a book so hard since last year, which told me that DTOM was a contender for this year's Book That Changed My Life. I turned onto Bottler's Avenue and passed under a wrought iron archway that proclaimed I had, in fact, arrived at Lupton. Bottler's Ave was a straight shot into campus. No curves, no hills, just a median separating the two sides of the road. I drove all the way to the end of it, past the stadium, the gym, and the maintenance building, and turned right into the faculty, staff, and senior parking lot. One of Lupton's borders was an old train track, and the train track separated us from a fancy shopping center that also contained an Earth Foods market. If you were anything but a senior, you had to park in a lot behind the Earth Foods and then walk across a little greenway connecting the lot to the paved path at the back of the school. L.A. was notoriously cramped, which was actually how L.A. became the working name for Lupton Academy, instead of Lupton. On the corner of two busy roads in the dead center of Chattanooga's North Shore, we'd expanded as far as we could without buying 15 homes and a few businesses, junkyard, recycling center, and a self-storage place behind us. These 15 home and 3 business owners, also known as the Stringer and Peerless Alliance, aka SPA, knew we needed more room, hated the fact that LA was taking over their space, and had banded together to ask for a total of $67.5 million for everything. Each of the 15 1950s 2-bedroom, 2-bath houses would get $3.5 million, and each of the businesses would get $5 million. So we were in a gridlock. The school didn't have that sort of money to pay for expansion, and SPA wanted no less. The campus had gotten lusher and greener over the summer, and, as always, it looked beautiful. The parking lot borders were filled with bushes and flowers, professionally cut and pruned within an inch of a Better Homes and Gardens photo shoot. Parking grid lines a fresh, pure white. Not a sliver of trash caught in the drainage inlets. The line of serviceberry trees separating L.A. from the spa lands was a thick binding of pruned and intermingled leaves, a green fence whose leaves turned to fire in the fall. I turned off the car and sat there for a while, drinking coffee and contemplating. I was early, and the campus was just starting to echo with a dewy cicada yawn of morning. I sat and rehashed every molecule of Don't Tread on Me, from its beginning on a swaying cornfield to its end in the dark of a cave. I didn't want to speak too soon, but I thought it was one of my favorite books of all time. All its other merits aside, simply the concept of panem et circenses was like a pair of glasses I hadn't known I needed, and I was still adjusting to my new sense of sight. I hopped out of the car and spun around, arms outstretched over the kingdom of the on-campus parking lot. And then it hit me. This was it. There'd be no more walking the underclass passage from the Earth Foods lot. This was my last year of volunteering for Mr. Kaywell, LA's librarian. It was the last first day I'd ever have.